Hey, coming.
Hey y'all, what's up? And welcome to another lit video. So if you guys couldn't tell by the title, today's video is going to be a story time. But before we get into all that, thank y'all so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and thumbs up this video for more premium content. Okay, so this is my very first story time video, and while I'm so excited to share, I was sick to my stomach when all of this was unfolding and it was happening at the time, and just making this video like re-brought back all of the worst feelings. And when I tell y'all I was going through it, like y'all are gonna see from the video, your girl was really going through it. So I had never been involved in a car accident like this where someone had been so aggressive and so hateful for literally no reason at all. And as sickening as this all was, I was really blessed to have some amazing Good Samaritans in my corner, as well as an amazing lawyer who really knew his shit. I was able to record video, of course, because I knew immediately I was gonna need it, but I also have the surveillance video from the auto body shop that we crashed right outside of. And I also have the dash camera from inside the guy's own car that my lawyer was able to send to me. So without further ado, let's get into the debauchery and detrimental disdain that is this story time. So I'm coming home from Don Pedro's one night, and I pull out of the parking lot out onto the road, and I'm stopped at a stoplight. The light turns green, and the car in front of me, this little Mini Cooper, is not moving. I'm waiting, and of course all of the other cars start to move, and I'm like, okay, well, maybe he's having some sort of car trouble. And at the same time, the cars that are behind me start to get in the other lane to move around because this man still ain't moving. So a couple cars pass and he starts to move, but he going really slow, like less than 5 miles an hour. And of course, more cars are passing because he on some bullshit. I let the last car behind me pass, and the moment that I decide that I'm going to change lanes, this man floors it, and we're both zooming down the road. Okay. There's a car in front of me though, going the speed limit, of course. But I didn't want to crash into the back of them in order to change lanes and get in front of the crazy. So I slow down, I get back behind him because my turn is coming up and I need to be in that lane. And he has the nerve to brake check me. He literally stops in the middle of the road, in the middle of traffic. I stop in time, I don't hit him, but I do get out of my car and I proceed to ask him what the hell his problem is. He got out too. And at this point, my dog is in the car, scared. I'm irritated because my food getting cold, and I'm just trying to get home. But then he goes back into his car and he starts fumbling with something in the front seat of his car, and I don't know what the hell he was about to pull out, but baby, I was not finna stick around and find out, okay? So I pull off and he's following me. He's riding my ass, zooming into my license plate and and at the time, I didn't realize this, but because it had been a little bit, like long enough for me to let my guard completely down. But looking back at the video, he was actually moving his dash camera to hide the fact that he was about to yeet my shit across 82nd Avenue. So I'm thinking everything's done. I'm vibing to the music, and out of nowhere, this man and his funky ass Mini Cooper rams into the passenger side of my car. He hits me so hard that he knocks me from the inside lane into the middle yellow lane where nobody drives. And it's so crazy because I distinctly remember a car coming from the opposite direction and having to swerve into the other lane just so that we didn't crash. Probably the second most scary car accident I've been in my life. On top of that though, he stops his car in front of mine again to make it seem like I hit him from behind. And I don't understand why he's doing this. I don't know if he thinks he's going to convince them that I've just been hitting him this entire time, or if I'm the one who's like, if I'm really the one at fault. I honestly don't know what his thought process is at this point. But here we are. My food is everywhere in the front seat. My dog is trembling, terrified. And I think that's what upset me the most. Because like, sure, he hit my car, but in that moment, in the light of everything happening, I high-key was not thinking about my vehicle at all. Like, I seen how shaky she was, and she just had this look in her eye like, oh my God, is everything okay? Like, what's going on? And I seen that, and I just lost it.
God, are you f***ing serious? Are you you're scaring the shit out of my dog. You're scaring the shit out of my dog. Look what you just did to my f***ing car.
So stay in your car, stay safe, and roll your window.
Yeah, and there's a fucking witness. There's a fucking witness, so good luck. Good luck. Wow. Wow. And what the fuck is wrong with your car? Absolutely fucking nothing.
I was furious. Like, I could not believe that somebody would be so reckless and so careless to not only put their own life in danger, but to put several other lives in danger as well. Like, obviously my life doesn't matter to him, and that's totally fine. I'm coming to terms with the fact that not everybody is going to give a fuck about you. But there were so many other cars on the road that day. Like, what if my car swerved into another car? What if that car had kids in it? Like, the whole thing, all the what ifs and were like really fucking me up. It was tearing me up for a little while. The whole incident was crazy. But then something happened. So all of this was happening in June of 2020. And if y'all remember, the George Floyd protests were going on heavy, and the city I live in was wildin', and everybody was on high guard. In the middle of me yelling at this old Mini Cooper driving fool, a black dude comes up and he's like, did he do this? Did he do this to you? And I'm like, yeah, he did.
Yes, on purpose. On purpose.
Yeah, I did.
On purpose. On purpose.
Roll down the window. Come on. You got something to say, motherfucker? Come on back. Come on back.
You're horrible. You're a horrible
when
person.
somebody sits there and hits.
And the guy proceeds to pepper spray this man. I mean, he didn't get him, but I really appreciated the effort and the thought. So the entire time we've been stopped at this point, a witness who saw the whole thing stayed with me. I'm so grateful for her. I put her in my phone, like her name is Angel in my phone, because without her, I swear to God, none of this would have been possible, and without the video too. But nevertheless, she stayed with me and she called the cops and everything for me. She told me to stay in my car where it was safe because this guy was acting like a fucking nut. But while we were waiting for the cops to show up, the owner of an auto body shop that we were outside of came running outside, and he was like, oh my God, I seen everything. I can't believe he just did that. Like, come inside. I have the video for you. Come and get the video. And I could not have been more grateful. Like, not only for the witness who, cause she was there from the beginning, like at the stoplight where all of this started. She was one of the cars that had pulled up, not the cars obviously that were going around to pass lanes, but she had pulled up after that, and she had seen how the guy was driving and how he was acting and how he was anticipating my moves. And as soon as we all stopped and she got out, she was like, he cat and moused you. Like, the way he was driving was completely inappropriate. Like, you need to get him. He's completely in the wrong. So for her to stay behind us for the entire time, and then also for the auto body shop guy to come out and say, hey, you know, I have the video, come and get it. Like, it's just awesome to know that there's still really good people out there in the world. And that other dude was so hilarious with his pepper spray. Like, I would have felt kind of bad had he been pepper sprayed, but but anyway, so we waiting forever for the cops to show up, and go figure, the cops never show up. So I call again and I'm like, hey, we've been waiting for the cops. A witness called in a car accident a while ago. And the lady says that when a witness calls in the car accident, they're not obligated to send nobody over to the scene. What the fuck? And when I didn't drop it and she was running out of shit to say, she eventually said that the police was all downtown fighting people at the protests. Okay, so that's not what she really said, but you know that's what the police was down there doing. She said no one was available, no one was gonna come out. She told me to grab the guy's license plate number and to go home and wait for an officer to call me later that night. Y'all, to this day, I have not heard anything back from Portland Police Department. So I get a lawyer involved and he reads my story and he's more than willing to get involved, okay? Like, this was damn near the crime of the century. But we talk paperwork and fees and all that nonsense, and the process begins. So months and months of back and forth emails consume between me and my lawyer, and it comes down to the point where the guy needs to be served court papers. And you know the dudes whose job it is to go around asking people who they are and serving them court papers.
Hi there. Are you Sandra Danby?
Yeah.
Well, I am Garth from Global Saviors, and
What is this?
I'm just joking. You failed to show up for your divorce proceedings like 4 times under court order, and you've been served.
Oh, great. All right, thanks a lot, asshole.
Well, the server at this point had been trying to serve this guy many times, and every time somehow he seems to avoid the server. Well, my lawyer sent me an email, and hold on to your diapers, babies. It's about to get real. Okay. So this is the email that the process server sent to my lawyer on one of the times that he tried to serve the guy. So, good morning, Mr. Sir. Ooh, I'm probably gonna have to edit that out because I don't want anybody's personal information in the video. But okay, last night at 7 p.m. I was present at Little Mini Cooper's address. The television was on and other lights were on. The screen door was locked, preventing knocking on the front door. I used the doorbell, which I can hear ringing inside the residence. I could not get an answer at the front door. After a number of rings, I returned to my car, which was parked on the street in the front of the unit. At that point, I noticed a light go off in the living room area. I returned to the door and again rang the doorbell. At that point, an adult male began yelling through the window of this residence where a picture of a gun was posted and reflected that he is low on ammunition and doesn't fire warning shots. I mention this only because all I could see are green rifle lasers being trained on my head and in my eyes. It was dark and my eyes were therefore a little dilated to adjust for the dark. My heart raced, not knowing what will follow. While I am certain that I did not leave documents directed towards the guy at this residence, I am equally certain that what I believe some personal papers of mine flipped out of my coat pocket. I was not about to chase my documents down while a gun was trained on me and the holder of the gun not screaming rationally. Bottom line, no documents were left. One thing is also fairly certain. It would not be reasonable to return to this address. I have been serving process for many decades. However, never have I felt like that was the last day for me on this planet. I believe the only reasonable approach at this point is to perfect service. Alternatively, if you authorize, I will forward this service to yada 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 and we can yada yada yada. So not only does this guy have no regard for other people's lives, he is willing to threaten the life of a whole government official just to avoid any kind of consequences for his wrongdoings. Like, eventually they were able to serve him. All of the evidence was sent over, the witness statement, the surveillance video from the auto body shop, his own dash cam video that he recorded and sent in thinking that it was gonna do something, but it really told on his stupid ass. Everything was sent over, and immediately after his lawyer seen all the evidence, my lawyer told me that the checks were getting drawn up immediately, period. But that was the end of it. We didn't have to go to court. There was no more arguing. There was no more bullshit of him denying any wrongdoing. I just washed my hands of it. I'm done with it. I got what I came for, and after a grueling